Hello, my Hope More family. I want you guys to join me for Happy Hope Night. We have a little Hope Happy Hour. No alcohol necessary. We're gonna have a little Hope Happy Hour, and I'm drinking some bold ginger ale. I know it may look like it, but it's not brown liquor. Just so you know, it's the Canadian Dry Bold Ginger Ale. Come on now. They ain't even giving me money for this sponsorship. I want you to grab your favorite little beverage, and bold Canadian dry ginger ale just has a lot more ginger to it. So it's it clears up your sinuses. But I want you guys to come on, chill and have a good time. We're gonna talk about what your Dare to December dares are looking like. Because today we're gonna talk about, well, you'll see just in a few seconds. When you know the man, only back up I need. If a joker wanna act up, the COD, so back up. I keep 66 and 11 clip down to it. When your heart specifying quick and miss, nobody got the black like G-Ho. The word go lyrically wise and Neo. I'm hot in the world, back Oscar Rio. More from the world in the industry trio. Beat to the beat, to K wide the bubble. Getting Joe Swagger, cover it global. Jealous guy, you got me. Give him a time. I wanna give him everything. You stay in my rhymes. I'm obsessed with your love and I paid you for life. When I wake up, I'm all about you. First thing I do is chill with you. The next thing I do is love on you. Then all day I spend my time with you. Cause no one else can love me like you. You brought me out of things that pull me through. You help me see things and what to do. When I didn't see my way, I turned to you. So who else but you would I be thinking of? All of that grace and all of that love, all of that patience, all of them hugs, all of your presence, I'll be only thinking of you. Either way it go with you all the time. Anywhere I go, I know I can find. Cause anytime you show, I know it's the time. Anyway you bless me, I'll be satisfied. I hope you don't mind if I testify. But my God is a jewel that money can't buy. So the old me really go like these eyes. See the reason why I'm missing my sky. Living in my speakers so keep with me when I ride. See it in my business so keep with me when I fly. New York, LA, the more the shy. Back to the A, don't be so surprised. Yeah, the dirty self got the boy that make you see the light. Haters get mad when they don't wanna get right. Let me tell you like this, don't knock it till you try. King Joe on the track, yeah. Yes. God got you. I was thinking that is the perfect song to start off the third week or third Wednesday in December. As we close out the year 2020, it's important to know that God got you, right? Through the fires, through untimely deaths, through COVID, through potential employment issues and economic um, uncertainty, through civil unrest and racial injustice, through crazy presidential elections that sometimes feel like it'll never end. Um, we guys got you. So, so I am actually very excited. I guess is trying to make sure he has the information, and he's trying to call me, but I'm on. I am okay. Let's do this. 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 I am trying. I almost want to say, okay, how are y'all doing? How are y'all doing tonight? Well, what was your dare to do? What was your D2D so far? Okay, so the first week um, we talked about daring to maybe like drop our COVID 20 or COVID 15. Last week, I talked about, definitely shooting your shot, whether it's with your job or a relationship, shooting your shot. Well, today we're going to be talking about who daring to dream, honey, planning your dream vacation. Now, some of you may think that that is not that big of a deal, but let me tell you, during this whole happy hour, it caused me great joy to think about where I could be and where I can go next year after my vaccination. How about you? What is your dream vacation? Yes, I'm drinking ginger ale. So, okay, I'm like trying to get my friend on here and I'm getting a little frustrated, but I'm going to try to do this and talk at the same time so that you guys will definitely be a part of the conversation. So, if you are on right now, I want you to plot down below, what is your dream vacation? Where would you like to go? What would you like to do? Because I know this time has been really rough because people have not felt the freedom to dare to do anything, to dare to go anywhere. They have felt sort of stuck. How many of y'all felt stuck? I felt stuck. And I mean, I went, which is about 4 million or so, Metro Atlanta, to living in Perry, Florida, which I think is about 8,000 people. The county is 25,000 people. So, like, literally, I already sort of was feeling a little hemmed up and hemmed in and living in a more rural environment. But now it's like for 10 months, I have not gone on anybody's vacation. I have not flown on anybody's plane. I rarely have driven. And when the one place I went was unfortunately was a funeral, and I didn't even go out to eat with people because I was so afraid. I was so afraid of catching something or spreading it to my parents. It was like, I really haven't had that kind of freedom. And I'm just like, okay, God, where am I going to go next? So I'm like starting like this little dream book, and it's looking a little raggedy. But I encourage you to find a dream book. Like, where do you want to go? And today I should have a special guest who's going to talk about that too. And I'm going to sit there. I'm going to sit here and try to make sure this person gets on, or it's going to be a conversation of one. And this guy is a basically a world traveler extraordinaire, and he has great ideas when it comes to making your dream vacation. So what about you? Where do y'all want to go? Let's see, Hawaii. Um, is that a little trite now? Is that not really anybody's dream anymore? What, a long time ago, I guess it used to be like a big deal to go to Hawaii, and it still is a very nice place to go. But I don't have like I don't have like very eccentric taste or eclectic or just like something that's super sophisticated and only the people that know are about it. So to me, like going to Hawaii is a great trip, but for others it may be a little bit like saying you want to go to Disney World. Like, been there, done that. But what about you? Are you like me? I love history. And because of that, like, I think going to look at some ruins or hang out and going to museums, even like inside the country, is like really cool. What about you? What do you like to do? Hmm? What do you like to do? So let me check in on my person. Oh gosh, I just don't understand. Okay. 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 Well, what do you like to do? So I may just have to, I'm not able to get this person on. The devil is a liar. You guys stretch out your hands towards this broadcast and say, and say, devil, you are a liar and a conjuring fool, and you will not hold up this wonderful dare to do December. So, so if you're watching, send me some good love and hope because I really am a little lost for words right now. I don't understand why it's being problematic. Okay, it's not saying you can get on. I have no idea. Why is it saying that the person can't get on? Okay. Um, let's see. Let's try this one more thing. Come on now. I don't know. This just me. I may have to like ask the Lord to just have to reschedule that guest and talk about my dream vacations. So ideas about dream vacations. And I say your dream vacation because sometimes people's idea of what's great is not yours. Have you ever gone on vacation with someone and all they wanted to do was shop? All they wanted to do was shop. And you did, you know, like you're like, I'm not coming to New York City just to shop because I feel like I can shop anywhere. I want to, you know, go look at the sites. I just think it's very important that it is your dream vacation because everyone doesn't like what you like. Everyone doesn't see what you see. And so when I say have a plan for your dream vacation, I want you to think about what refreshes you. Because I don't know about you, when I'm on vacation, I get super, super refreshed. I think my gut. Okay, well, you know what? I am not going to worry about it because it's so funny. I often don't advertise what the topic is or who the guest is until after the show just because of these situations. When sometimes I do it and then something happens. And I think because both he and I were sort of running in from work and doing different things, he wasn't able to get and try the system before we started. So we're going to go ahead and chat a little bit. It's not going to be a long conversation because I am not the expert on it, but I don't know about you. I get really refreshed when I go on vacation or take some leisure time. It used to be a time that I really just never made. Um, I never, or I won't say I never, it'll be hard for me to take a vacation because I'm like, there's so much to do. I have a girlfriend, Crystal, and she'll often say, well, what, because I did criminal defense. And she's like, aren't there people in jail? I was like, listen, Jesus said the poor will be with you always, and so will the incarcerated. So, but her sentiment was like, you know, you do so much and you help so much. How can you afford to go away? But the truth of it is, if you die tomorrow, how about they'll have someone else in your place? No matter how important your job is, they will definitely have someone else who will do your job. And they may not do it as well or catch up as fast, but it'll be okay. So we have to take time out. So I want to just encourage you to plan your dream vacation because right now, if you're like me, it could be a little stir crazy. You're sick of looking at the same walls. And look at my walls. I have dark gray walls. I haven't even gotten a real tree and I have lights up on my little tree. It's so cute. But like, what do you want to do? Like, this is a great time to go ahead and create like a Pinterest page or a lookbook about your dream vacation. You want to go to Abu Dhabi and you're like, there's no way I have the money for that now. Well, you know, start deciding what you're going to do and how much it's going to cost and maybe plan out for 2022. I, think that sometimes dream vacations is not even so much where you go, but how long you travel. Like when was the last time as an adult outside of, and that's not even a vacation because if you had a baby, that's not vacation. But outside of sickness or some type of FMLA, when was the last time you like took a month off? Now that would be a dream vacation. How many of y'all have taken a month off where it's not a month off to go help somebody else or to do something, or even go on a missions trip? It's like a month off just to relax and do whatever you want to. I tell you, in 2015, I did a winter extravaganza, and it still by far is one of the best times I've ever had. Not all because of where I went, even though where I went was really cool, it was like planned out during a time that people are not calling you. You know what I mean? Christmas, New Year vacations are the best because everybody's off of work. So you don't come back to the office in January with a boatload of messages or people trying to reach out to you because it's the holidays. So don't be afraid to travel on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve or during the holidays. And although COVID may not be the best time to do it this year, I hope next Christmas, winter extravaganza, I can do a repeat. Because, oh my God, 2015, I was like, I want to take a train, a boat, and a plane. No, just a train, plane, no, train. What did I do? Was it train, boat, and then like I took a bus. It was like crazy. Like I took a train from Atlanta to New York, visited friends, had a wonderful time seeing some of my best friends in life. And then I went to DC for Christmas and got to look at like the monuments and Smithsonian and get lost up in that. And then I came down back to Atlanta. Then I got on a bus, went to Orlando. And then I got on a cruise ship and had a great time there by myself. And then I came back to Cape Canaveral. Then I drove to Orlando. And then I had New Year's Eve at Walt Disney Epcot Center with my cousin. When I tell you, I was just wonderful. Like, it's like I took this long train ride and it helped me sort of deprogram. Anybody here needs those type of vacations so you can just stop doing what you normally do. And I was like, ooh, this is nice. Like I could do trains more often. And then I went to go see friends, which were very refreshing. And then I came down and got on a cruise by myself, which was wonderful. I met new people who I sometimes still catch up with. And then I went and hung out with family for New Year's Eve. And when I tell you, I've been waiting for a repeat of that. It's time. 2021 is time. Now, so some people's dream vacation may not be in and of itself all that spectacular, but just maybe hitting on a little bit more than you normally would, like totally maxing it out, doing as much as you want to do. Now, I think it's very important, and I love solo vacations, but if you go on vacation with someone because it's your dream, make sure that they're in agreement with what you want to do, because there ain't nothing like spending a bunch of money, right? And then somebody else is trying to like totally guide the entire time. I'm like, you can get off. Like I'm gonna do what I want to do. That means if I want to sleep all day, I'm gonna sleep all day. So it's important to have a goal. Like, what are we doing during this time? And sometimes I think when you go with people, it's good to have like yourself and downtime. Like, hey, we're gonna go to dinner. We're going to go to the Ocho Rios waterfalls. We're going to do this. And then like, leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. Those are the best. And yeah, so I just really encourage everybody to like start planning some dream vacation. It could be actually a stay-at-home vacation or staycation, but make it special. Like literally don't be like you always are. Am I the only one that when I go on vacation, I sort of like get a little more freer with certain things? I am, nothing bad, but I can be silly. I remember the last time I went to Jamaica, I had purple tinged hair. And when I tell you, you could not tell me my name. I loved it. I was not attorney, minister, Hope Dems. I was just free. I think I even went by my first nickname, like Rita from Sharita. I was just like, this is what I was doing to enjoy. So my guest is and I was just about to say bye-bye because I feel like I'm boring people. So you guys, I told you I had a guest coming on. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but he is on now. So I'm going to definitely bring him in this conversation for the next few minutes. Thank you for being so patient. And bless his heart, I haven't even gotten to say hi to him separately, but I'm gonna bring him on now, Mr. I was like, you know what? I'm a my production team, which is me. I'm the only, you're like so like chocolate right now. I can like barely see you.
Wait. My lighting is really poor. I have a I have a light on above me, a light beside me, and 2 lights behind me, and it's still really bad. Hold on. Let me see what I can do.
Try to put those lights in front of you.
That's not gonna happen. I got everything at a distance. This is like a
Stationary.
let me see if I can put one of them. Let me see what I can move around.
You know what? This is. Let me just tell you, this man is a consummate professional. It's all on me because he's doing me a favor. I was like, could you please join me on my Facebook Live tonight?
Is that a little better?
It is. It is. See, you gotta let people see your handsome face. Like, you just look like man behind the wizard. Oh wow. Okay, so
hello everybody.
Hey, this is Bernard Carter, and he is the owner of Carter One Productions and Entertainment LLC. He's an all-around great person, but I have him on here today to talk about vacations. Well, Bernard, will you tell my audience a little bit about you?
Oh, yes, thank you. Well, you know my name, Bernard Carter. I live in the great state of Maryland, and I currently have, as Hope has explained briefly, I have my own marketing firm as well as venture capital fundraising consultancy. What I do is I pretty much travel around the country and in other various parts of the globe in regards to being able to help entrepreneurs who want to start a new business and or a company who's already in existence who also wants to expand their business. So I help them raise the capital. Even going back further than that, I help them to develop and or enhance their executive summary and their business plan so they can look well on paper for me to then go out and get the money that they need to do what they want to do to establish and or, for business expansion. I have been doing this for quite a long time. I know I only look 35, but I've been doing it for over 25, 30 years.
Yes, you only look 35, darling. You only look 35.
But I love to travel. I went to college upstate New York in Rochester Institute of Technology, and got my education in regards to the hotel travel tourism from the College of Applied Science and Technology. I am a person that loves to eat a great meal and eat in exotic places. If you see my Instagram feed, it will show you pretty much all the places and types of food and culinary tastes and delights that I love. I'm a person that will take a chance on almost anything you set before me on a plate. Hence is also I work with on another extreme in my production and entertainment part of business. I work with celebrity chefs as well. At one time I was representing about 22 different celebrity chefs.
Wow.
That they got their notoriety and fame on these culinary competitions on the Food Network, and they thought, because that they were on those shows that they were, they were hot for a minute. And, but it was good because now I only represent I've shaved it down and I only represent, I think 5 right now, 2, 3 international and 2 here in the US. And, I have been able to travel the world, let alone the US, East Coast to West Coast, as well as down into the Caribbean, South America, and various other Central America and various other parts of the world. And it's afforded me the opportunity where, fortunately, the companies that I work with, they foot the bill. So those
are the best dream vacations where you're like, thank you. Yes. Well, you know what? Bernard is only giving you a just a like a little bit of what he does and why he would be like the perfect person to have on here. One day I have to have on in here talking about like raising capital for business, but today is a little bit more lighthearted. And I've already sort of gone through some of my spiel, and I feel a little bad for my audience who may have already sort of like gone on, but they can watch the replay. So I just wanted to talk about planning a dream vacation. And Bernard, I don't know if you were able to catch anything I was saying before, because I know you were trying to get on. Were you?
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
No.
It's called my browser with my Mac Pro and my iPad. For some odd reason, I have Google Chrome, but I never use it. So Safari does not pair well. Yeah, Safari doesn't pair well.
It's my fault. It's my
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah, Safari doesn't pair well with StreamYard. It's only Google Chrome. But fortunately, Google Chrome is already still on my system. So,
it's my fault. You know, this is the challenge of having friends. I'm like, okay, he'll get on when he can. But typically, I try to get on with people 30 minutes before to make sure everything works well. But I learn next time. So listen, I'm gonna ask you a few questions because your life evolves around vacations and maybe other people's dreams. But you're doing work, right? You're doing work and you're helping.
Let's just say this, and I'm gonna show my. Even though I have work and I have wonderful business clients, the places that I go to, and I hope that they don't see this show one day. That I go to like wonderful places, and I'm there for like a week to 10 days, and I'm only working like 2 days out of those week to 10 days. So. But it's a wonderful thing to do, and dream vacations are everybody's got their ultimate dream, and I always say, I believe in putting it down on paper, and even my sister does is putting it up on a wall or putting it on a storyboard, and you have those goals, and you can see it every single day. And if you imagine it and you keep saying it, trust me, it will eventually come to pass.
And I was just talking about that. I was like, you guys, whether it's a Pinterest page or just your hobbled together scrapbook, like you need to start planning.
Yep.
Even if it feels like, I'm a cashier at Walmart and I want to go to Abu Dhabi, like, a little bit at a time. Americans spend money on so much, right?
Yeah.
Cars and expensive phones. That's why so many of us don't have passports. And you see other countries going everywhere, and they're like, Americans always think or often think it's too expensive or it's not worth it. But I mean, you already know, I already told you, I'm not into labels, but I love experiences. Like a good experience where you're just like, oh my God. Like when you're on vacation or you go some of your favorite places, have you like sometimes cried at the beauty that you
behold? Oh God, yes. I mean, even just here in the US, I remember back when I was only 20, 21 years old, and I had my first experience going to the West Coast by myself. And it was just like seeing the grandeur of the mountains, and the range of the canyons, and then also taking that experience from where I literally drove from California to Nevada and going through the Mojave Desert and going through the Joshua Tree Park and all of those places. Wow. It was amazing. And I tell anybody, you should do it at least one time in your life. It's like no experience. And just when I was driving and I was going through the Mojave Desert and you see all of the clay mountains and everything, and you're just like, thinking, my mind went as far back as imagining what the old West was like when they literally just was in, like a Wells Fargo carrier in the, in the horse and carriage, and what that was like going across the entire train. And you see the cacti out in the range, and you're just like, wow. I mean, just to see it is amazing. And then when I've gone down to like Panama, and I've literally gone through the Panama Canal, and to see what that whole and experience that whole thing, it's like none other. I mean, it's just so it's awe inspiring, and it's just beauty and grandeur, to see. And then also then to, go as far as Alaska, and where I did not think that, I always said I want to go to Alaska. I said I wanted to go to Hawaii first, but then all of a sudden God made provisions for me to go to Alaska prior to, and I've been to Alaska 3 times, and
wow.
yeah, and it's just like every single time that I've gone, I know 4 times actually, every single time that I've gone, I mean, it's like no other. And it's, the thing is, you notice, even down to the air quality, the air is much more crisper and fresher. And it's just, when you see, we get excited. I know for our area, we get excited every so often when we see a bald eagle. They're just like in,
everywhere,
rocks everywhere. And you're just like, and the natives, they're like looking like, what are you looking at? I'm like, I'm looking at the eagles. And they're looking, they're like, yeah, it's just an eagle, and it's like, but I'm like, we don't see them in flocks or clusters like that, where you see like 20 to 30 at a time, and it's just amazing. And then when you experience actually seeing black bear and brown bear, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Just where they're like no more than 10 feet away from you, and you've got a guide walking you through it, and all of a sudden they got to keep it, they got to fetch, fair off the bear to make sure that they don't, you don't get attacked. But it's just, it's been and it's just been an enlightenment. And then to go to Arizona, to the Grand Canyon. I mean, our country alone has so much to see. It's just,
yeah, you don't have to leave the shores to have like an amazing experience.
Exactly. I've been to the Hoover Dam. I mean, that's one of the 7 wonders of the world. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And it was hot as Hades, but it was literally, when we were there, it was every bit of that day, 2 days we were there, it was like 110 degrees. And it was just an amazing sight to behold. And then to go down like, 2 miles underground to see the grids and how it all works. And that Hoover Dam, it literally, if that dam went out of commission, it would affect electricity throughout the entire United States and parts of Canada.
That is amazing.
That's how much it has a full effect on, our technology systems, as well as, again, our electrical systems. I mean, it's amazing. But to see it up close and personal, and, again, to see the Grand Canyon is just, and we only saw the east side of the canyon. And just to know that, there's still hundreds and hundreds of miles to experience and see. But, anybody wants, you can go to my Instagram page. And you can do that.
I should know this. I should have this up. What's your Instagram page?
Instagram page, it is Bernard R. Let me see for sure. I sometimes don't remember.
The little R doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't the actual? Let me see what my Instagram page is. I'm looking at it right now and still don't know what it is.
I'm mad that you don't know what your Instagram is.
Well, I just don't look at it. I don't look at my.
Let me help you out.
Don't allow, select photos, allow. I don't look at it all the time, and so when I do get on it, it's like, okay, what is my home? There it is.
Okay, I have a B Carter Com 1. You have more than one.
It is. I have only one.
Okay.
A video conference. She's got a show that she does, and she's got me on video. Lori just stepped in.
On a show. Oh,
Lori.
Yes. What's your favorite dream vacation? Are you taking your dream vacation yet?
Mentally.
Or what are one of them?
She said mentally.
Are you loud?
That could be the best.
Is she doing her show now?
She's doing her show now live.
Oh, so it's like very informal type.
That is so funny. He's just like, don't you? No, but like I told you guys, family. But and you're BR Carter.
Yes.
On Facebook,
BR
right?
Carter, it should be BR Carter Jr.
JR.
Lights up.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think to, but I know, because Hope was saying that my lighting was really bad.
Yeah.
But this was as good as it.
popular than me. I'm looking like him compared to him, but that's
Can you
fine.
see me fine?
Huh?
You can see me all right though?
Yeah, you could
Okay.
you could definitely see a lot more. When you
Okay.
first came on, it was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But no,
Oh,
so
my Instagram page is bcartercom1, like .com but no dot. BCARTERCOM, the number 1.
okay.
bcartercom1, and that will show you like all my 300 plus posts from everywhere I've been, even when I've gone to do the mission work in Guyana. Everything.
Yeah,
that was an experience. That was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
well,
Thank you.
I was going to ask you, and I was going to mention that you are a leader at your church, you're an elder, and I know for me, like everywhere I go, especially places that are not mundane to where I grew up, I always get some sense like I'm getting a message from the Lord. And sometimes it's just in the weirdest places, or not weirdest, but may not even seem that awe-inspiring. Like when I went to Stratford upon Avon and got to see the birthplace of William Shakespeare, and this man created 20,000 words, and I was like, why can't I create 20? Like, I was like, why I can create 20,000 words? What words? And a lot of my friends may know that I do come up with my own words, or just, being on a castle that's over 1,000 years old. And I'm really crying like, God, what can I create here? Your sister's like, I just put it on the camera. I can't like Kiki.
She's trying to make it work for me to have better lighting. She went in her car.
I'm gonna
excuse me.
Well, we're almost done now. Tell your sister she don't have to knock herself out. He really did leave me off the camera.
There's a button over there.
Oh, okay. Hold on right now.
We're gonna have to bring BR Carter back because he has too much good information, and today didn't work out the way I planned, but it's all my fault. All lack of pre-planning. That's his sister in the back, Corey.
There we go. Can you see me better now?
Yes. Sometimes when I'm just, feeling down, and you and I have also talked about, like, just going to a local watering hole of some sort to see the water, or just, if you're landlocked, to go to a park, just look in the sky. Now, these may not be dream vacations, but they may be like small excursions to just sort of lift you out of what you are. And during this COVID, as I've been sharing with my Hope More family, it's so important, especially being stuck in the house for 10 months, to get out. I call it also planning your dream vacation, because there's something about being away that helps me dream, right? Yeah. I look at the castle for 1,000 years, like, or what am I going to put on this earth that can last 1,000 years? Or what, like you said, going to Panama Canal and seeing like the Pacific Ocean meet the Atlantic Ocean. And it's just like, what could I create that would be so, it always makes me think about something more I can do in God, something more I can do in my life. And I just really appreciate those moments, because it's like, wow, okay, I needed this encouragement. I really needed this encouragement.
Yeah, I think from what you said in the beginning as well, when you and I were previously talking about, even if you're through this whole COVID phase, if you've been stuck home in the house, in your backyard, find the beauty of even going to the places that are like right in your backyard, so to speak. Right. I mean, I know, where we live, we're only about 40 minutes away from Ocean City. We can get down to the Atlantic Ocean with no problem. But yet in the same token, we also have directly in our backyard, we have the Wicomico River. And sometimes you have to imagine, not even really imagine, but you've got to take what you have right in your own backyard and make the beauty visual of it. And sometimes when we're younger, we so much want to get away from where we're from or where we grew up, but yet in the same token, now that I'm back, because I, lived in New York for just shy of 15 years, But now that I'm back, I see the beauty in so much. I mean, I love our Wacomico River, and I'm a member of one of our local golf and country clubs, and it sets right on the Wacomico River. And just the visual of that, when I get away, it feels like I've gone, and even though it's less than 10 miles down the road, it literally makes me feel like I've gone to another world because it's right on the river. You see tugboats and, small little boats come through, and you see ships come through that is just transporting, goods. But just to see it, just to hear the sound of it, and just to see, it's different from where, when I come back home, even though, like I said, it's less than like 7 miles, but it feels like I've gone away someplace else. And sometimes you just need to do that to get a mental clarity, and sometimes you need to do that, once a week, just to also help to give you, to give you more sanity, and even help you to give you more of a broader spectrum of thought process as well. Because sometimes you can go to certain these places that it will help to see things in a different perspective. And it's because it's visually something that you just don't look at every day, and it's like, our godparents, they have a lot of land where their house sits, but they got the joy in seeing 2 dove, little baby dove deers coming up every day, almost every day. It changed their whole tone of conversation. It literally brought them joy to see it every single day, because they've been, in the house every day, hardly go out, COVID wise, but they saw the beauty and the joy of these 2 little deer coming up almost every day, playing in the backyard, running in the front yard. I mean, it was just, they just sat there, and it was just like their mind went away just with that. And then it just all of a sudden it sparked interest even more so with conversation. But the dream vacation, and I don't want to seem to be monopolizing conversation. I think the dream vacation is always look at where you've always wanted to go. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson, Bucket List.
The bucket list.
The Bucket List was it. That's like one of my favorite movies. You always have, I believe, you should have a bucket list of where you want to go and or what you want to do. And if that bucket list, if you would have said to me, I mean, I always believed that I was going to go, but even with the trip to, even more so out of anywhere I even traveled internationally, if you would have said to me I was going to be going to Alaska, I was just like, I always verbally said it, but I had not yet done it. And when it happened, I was just like, holy cow, I'm going to Alaska. And then when it happened the second time, I was like, my God, I'm going back. And then the third time came. And then when I went the first time, there was a little lady that was in this little shop in Skagway, and I'll never forget it. And she says, has it bitten you yet? And I looked at her and she said, what? She said, has the Alaska bug bitten you yet? She said, I can see it. She kept she pointed at me. She says, I can see it in you. She says, you're going to come back, and you're going to come back again, and you're going to come back again.
You better move.
And I was just like, I looked at her, and before you knew it, a year later, I was back. And then within another I'd say about 14, 18 months, I went back again. And then all of a sudden the opportunity arose, and I went back again. And I was just like, and she saw me the third time, and she remembered, she said, I told you would be back. She says, are you going to find a home? And I just like, I said, I'm not going that far yet.
Later, not that's.
But just imagine where you want to go and believe it. And trust me when I tell you, the means will happen for it to happen. Because the first time I went to Alaska, I didn't have to pay 1 red cent, let alone the second time. And the reason why, the first one,
no debt is the
exactly,
best. I miss seeing in a gospel group.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why were all the nice free trips. to Europe or to the Caribbean or to Barbados, like, because I would always add 4 days to 7 days on top of it. Like,
exactly. That's what I do. Even when I go to California or to Nevada, especially when, Las Vegas, I'd be planning for like 5 days, 6 days. And before you know it, I done added another 3 to 5 days on top of that. I find some reason, in reference to being able to stay. But because I had even considered, even based upon, I don't have a huge following, but the few thousand people that follow me on there, I had gotten to a point where people were asking me like in advance, okay, where's your next trip? Where are you going to, because my frequency with my business was so frequent. It was just, even the people in my church are, so where are you? They got accustomed to me, especially in the months of January through April. They knew that, okay, you're going to start traveling again. Where are you going? What's on the agenda? What's on your schedule? And it's just like, and it was a wonderful thing. So I keep by the grace of God, I have right now, I have still, thanking God, I still have 3 or 4 international clients who, one is in Panama City, Panama, who were trying to get through, obviously, COVID, because I was supposed to have gone back there about 2 months ago, but because of COVID, we had to keep pushing it back. And then they came out and they wanted me to come next month. And I said, no, I think we need to get through this whole vaccine situation. So I said, let's wait until the end of February going into March. They were not sort of happy with that, but then I put in bold letters to the message I sent to them, safety first. And they sent me a message back saying, we understand 100%, no problem. So we're looking at the end of February. I have to go down it'll more than likely be my first international trip for an entire year. Because right before COVID, I went on the mission trip internationally for our church organization. And that was to what's it called? My God. Guyana, thank you. Guyana, South America. And it was my first time going there. And it was a wonderful place. Every place you'll go to has its economic stresses. But it was a wonderful, beautiful, hot, but beautiful place. And I would say to anybody, I could start naming off some places. Caribbean wise, I've been all over the Caribbean. From Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao to St. John, St. Martin, St. Kitts, Puerto Rico. I've been to so many different places. I've been to Peru. I've been to, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Panama. Been to Jamaica. I've been all over the country of Canada. And I say to anybody, if you want to start going out of the country, go to as what they call the world next door, which is Canada. It's easy to get in and out. You do have to have now in this day and time, you have to have a passport. And people sometimes they let that deter them. Do not let that deter them. When I first got my passport, this is how you can. It may sometimes in certain instances it may take a while, but if you got a 100% authentic itinerary from your airline and or the plane ticket, you can get, and you got an international travel, you can get your passport literally the same day. It'll cost you, it's on average $60 to $80 to get your passport. Over the 2-week time period, you have to wait for it. But if you get it instantly, it will cost you an additional $80 to $100. But it's worth it. And that's what I did. When I went, when I did my first international trip, I literally got the plane ticket first and then took the plane ticket, called and made my appointment to the passport office. And they took me in 8 o'clock that morning. By 4 o'clock that afternoon, I had my passport.
Okay, let's say the caveat. If you live in a rural or distant place, make sure that you factor in driving, because I was renewing my passport I didn't. It was like literally a month expired, and I was renewing my passport, and I had to drive to Atlanta.
Wow.
Atlanta was closer than Miami.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm just noting, just
That's true.
like,
Make sure that is the case. Make sure that's
like,
the case.
yeah, my trip is next week. They're like, oh, you're not priority. Get in this line.
Right. That's the other thing they'll say. You're not priority. Right.
Who was like leaving today. They're like to the top of the line. Well, listen, I so enjoyed talking to you, and there's like three things I want to ask, or three things I want to have you just share just a short bit about, like, any advice about anyone traveling alone. How do you sort of manage and negotiate traveling with people, or at least someone else? Because like this is really important. You're going on this vacation, you need to probably have some considerations, because I don't know about you, when I'm spending my money, I want to do what I want to do. So I can't travel with everybody to everything. And the third thing was like this may not be a question for you, but in general, when it comes to, say, like international accommodations, especially say like missions trips or things where it may not be hotel accommodations that match, or even the food or whatever, what type of flexibilities do you think Americans would do well to have? Because we can have a little bad reputation internationally to not being really easy to adjust. So any advice on traveling alone, traveling with people, right, and like adjusting to accommodations?
Now, traveling alone is great. 100% great if you're if that's what you want to do, because you're not subjected to having, and not that it's a bad thing. And I'll get to the second question, but traveling alone is, you just you want to stay at a property or hotel or resort or whatever it is where you're going to be staying, where if you have the mindset where you want to mingle being single and enjoy it, and want to be able to also meet people, I would recommend finding that type of property that may be family friendly, but yet in the same token, it's not catering to families. And it's just a matter of being able to stay also in an area that you, one, can walk to, and it's that is safe, of course, but you can get to your hotel and anything by walking. So then once you get to your destination, you can get back with no problem. But then in the same token, with Uber and Lyft and all that's out there, that's not a problem either. But it's making sure that you, one, stay at a hotel, semi-single friendly type place, because one thing I have noticed when I do travel alone, and I have stayed at those more oriented, family friendly places, I'm like second fiddle to the families, because they're looking at me like, why are you staying here? And and because sometimes you can get better rates and better deals in that regard. And then on the other side of that too, when you begin to merge into, okay, do I want to bring somebody along, or if I have to travel for work, and it involves also being able to have some fun, traveling with someone, I always say this: make them aware of the fact what's the word I'm looking for? You have wonderful manners, and you spend some time, but yet in the same token, you let them folk know out the gate how you are as a traveler. Hey, I am one that I don't believe in birds. I'm not the believer of birds of a feather flocking together. I'm going to do my thing. You do your thing. If you want to come and hang out with me, just know this: I'm going to be hanging out till X, Y, and Z number of hours. And, I'm going to leave when I'm going to leave. If you want to leave, you can leave. But yet in the same token, just know that I'm a independent spirit, because that's what I do. Even if I travel with family, I let them know, hey, I'm going to do what I want to do. You never travel with someone where they're going to make you feel obligated that you're going to have to stay stuck up under each other all the time.
Yes, come on now.
That's the thing. Unless, and the other good side of that is unless they are very flexible and conducive to doing what you want to do, not where it's all about us and our just having fun doing whatever and being, loosey goosey, so to speak, about how and what we want to do, what we want to do. And we, one of the things I don't like doing when I travel, and if it is with someone, is we go by schedule. I'm like, ain't nobody we got to get up 8 o'clock, do a tour. No.
Those schedules are so much fun though.
They can be, but I'm like, all right, if it's let's say for instance, if it's a week and out of that week, we do like 2 days of, and my week is not just a 5-day business week. My week is like 8 days. And when I say 8 days, 7, and this is one thing this is how I am when I travel. And I take a European perspective, so to speak. You can't, don't be going to Europe and you going to Europe for a week. It's consideration of the fact it's 6 hours and 45 minutes flight to get there. There's a time difference once you get there. So we're losing 6 hours in going there. So by the time we get there, if we leave at 1 o'clock in the afternoon via our flight, take us 6 hours to get there. By the time we get there, it's going to be almost midnight. So I always say, I recommend, if you're going to do a week situation, make sure that week is where you have that week to be there. So give yourself 2.5 extra days for travel. So by the day it takes you to get there, and then the day and a half is going to take you to get home. So you have that entire week to be at that location.
That is really smart.
On top of that, don't rush back into work. When you get home, take 2 days to get back and acclimated into your environment.
Oh, wow. Because you're tired from your vacation, and then you have to just rush to work.
Exactly.
You're more tired when you left.
Exactly. Don't take that time and rush. And especially I would also say too, if you're going to take time, go home on that Saturday or go home on that Friday. So then you got Saturday and Sunday to rest before you go back into the office on Monday. I think we just lost hope. But anyway, when you're traveling again, even with 2 individuals, or you're traveling with a group, make sure that group is conducive to doing things separately and independently. Because sometimes traveling a group is fun, but in the same token, you want to be able to do what you want to do, how you want to do. And back to the single, if you travel alone, you don't know who you're going to meet. You might find your queen, whomever, your king, whomever, while you traveling. You always leave space open for the possibilities, or leave space open to do what you want to do. And on that other note too, on taking an extra day or two, all of a sudden something might come up that you want to do that you didn't, find during the time you was there, and say, hey, I've now got the time to do it. I'm going to stay an extra day. And if you can do that, especially too, the hotel will work with you, giving you the same and/or possibly a lesser rate or a free day. I know I stay at Hilton's a lot. And if you stay beyond 5 days at times with Hilton will treat you to a day, an extra free day. And a number of hotel chains are now taking on doing the same. So, it's just, traveling a single. Now, the downside to traveling alone, I have experienced this, and I have no shame in saying it. It's been, all of a sudden you're there for like 3 or 4 days and it's just you eating dinner. You're there by yourself and you're just like, it would be nice to have shared this with somebody.
Yeah.
That's, if there's a con to it, that is it. Because there will come a point, in your life when you're young and, having fun. Yeah. But then there's still going to be a point that's like, oh, I wish I could share this with, whomever, someone special in your life, or whomever, if you're single. But you also, I always say, still be outgoing enough to talk to someone, because I have met some of the closest friends that I have had. There was a time, short story, I was going to Vegas so much a number of years ago that there were 3, 4 different people that I had met that all of a sudden we saw each other a couple of times on each trip that I went on and that they went on. We exchanged information, and then all of a sudden they were called, hey, when are you going to Vegas again? And there was a group of us. There was like 5 different guys that I developed a good relationship, and we, reach out to each other based on, meeting up in Vegas. And these were persons that were dispersed throughout the United States. One was in Arizona, one was down in Texas, one was out in California, and one was in Massachusetts, and it was like all of a sudden, we converge and we all pick a time when we would go and we'd all meet up there. It's just, you never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to encounter, or what, it's going to, have an effect on what it's going to do for your life. I mean, some of my, I could go on and ramble on forever and ever, but I've obtained clients through my travels like that. Just, you asked me the other night, you would love to know what my elevator pitch is.
How do you get that in there? Like, hello, Carter 1. Yeah.
And I've obtained clients in that realm, and before you know it, it's like I travel to where they are. I've traveled to where they are, and it's like, I always believe in, finding the most beautiful, warm spots and, finding the best clients that I can get and being able to travel to those places. So my next hook is going to be hopefully in reference to, I'm looking to hopefully get clients somewhere all over in, Europe, Ireland, Scotland, and England, and being able to travel back and forth in that realm once we get through this whole COVID situation, and as well as Iceland. And I was this close to getting a client in Iceland. I mean, hairs close, but, and I'm not giving up, because I think, Iceland is a beautiful place. And that's one of my, what I would say, dream vacations. And because of it, it's, Iceland is a place where you could drive for miles and not see one single person. And
that's where the Northern Lights, right?
Yes. And you can drive for miles and all of a sudden drive on and see literally on the side of the road hot springs where there'll be, 3 or 4 people who have stopped and literally have just disrobed and experienced the hot springs. And it's just to have the experiences, like that. And they have the Northern Lights also in Alaska, which we experienced, which is phenomenally gorgeous. I mean, I could, going back to that, I mean, I've experienced where, we were there during the winter solstice where it was 20 hours of, it was 20 hours of darkness and 4 hours of daylight. And it messed up my mind like you would not believe. I got there at, I've experienced the summer and winter solstice because it flip-flops. It goes from 20 hours of darkness to 4 hours of daylight, and then
20 hours of daylight. 20 hours of
daylight and 4 or 5 hours of darkness. And I've been there where at 12:30 which is 12:30 a.m., it would be still light outside, and it's just, and then when darkness does hit, it hits in like literally 30 to 45 minutes. And I've gone to sleep, went and got up to, use the bathroom, and then all of a sudden, when I got up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock after getting in and going to bed at 12:30 a.m., it was completely daylight outside, and it messes with your head. And I'm just like thinking, I missed my whole day of meetings, my whole day of everything. To the front desk, and I'm like, say, I gave you a what's it called? What's it called? The things that wakes you up. The
alarm clock. Wake up
not,
call.
yeah. What's the name? Call. And I said, you guys totally forgot to wake me up. And they were like, Mr. Carter, calm down, calm down. It's like, you're experiencing our summer solstice, and I'm like, well, what time is it? They're like, it's only 4:30 in the morning, and I'm just like, and the sun's up already? Like, yeah.
Well, listen, Bernard, I did ask you for 3 things, but actually we've gone over an hour. I'm probably going to have to edit this, but also I'm late to our church's prayer and Bible study, but this is just really, really good. And I just thank you so much. So my Hope More family watching live now or on the replay or my edited version, I just want to encourage you to still, before the year is over, you get to dream. You get to get outside of what's going on, the craziness that are all around you. Even as you reminisce about this year, think about what your dream vacation is. And, you've heard it from one of the best who does it. Think about what you want to do, how you want to do it, where you want to go. You can go literally in your own hometown for an excursion, and it's like another world. And I know for me, my dream vacation is actually not even a place. I want to drive across country from East Coast to West Coast.
I've not done that yet, and I want to do that.
I really want to do that. Like, I just think that would be so cool. The closest I ever got to was being on a church bus trip from Florida to LA and back again, but I was a little kid. So, but I remember going through the desert and being on a swinging bridge and just looking at, I just remember it was so cool. But I was just like, I just would love to do that. Maybe drive and then fly back. What I want to do, and just stop as much as I want to stop, like to see Americana. But thank you so much. And like I said, I have to bring Bernard, I call him Bougie sometimes, back to talk more about some of the other things he does, because he does so much. But I want to thank him. You guys give him a Hope More a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. So God be the glory. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Elder Hope Debs. Thank you for inviting me.
I am not elder.
Thank you for
That's
your
a whole other
invitation.
conversation. I don't mind being ordained an evangelist, but elder, oh Lord, that sounds like spinsterhood. But
oh my God. Well, thank you, and thank you everyone for watching in whatever form that you watch it in. And to God be the glory. Get out and plan it, literally, as the Word of God says. Write the vision, make it plain, put it down on paper, and trust me when I tell you, it will come to pass.
And get your passport in.
Get your passport. Yes, exactly.
So when the opportunity comes, they're like, we need to send someone to Mexico or Canada or Japan. You're like, I got my passport.
Exactly. Right. Trust me, and trust me when I tell you the being able to afford it will fall into place. Trust me when I tell you it will. Trust me, it will.
Trust him when he tells you. It will. Well, I love you, Hope More family. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Bye-bye. See you next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Hope Night.